Hello everyone, I'm Justine, this is Caroline and Cornelia for Your Big Sister show. Think of us as that big sister, someone that will always be there for you, to push you and inspire you. And I think it's much more than a member of the family, it's really a role model, someone that will always have your back.
And that's why today we are here to spotlight the great women who have made their mark on the world through their achievements. They are pioneers, model of strength and determination who inspire us through their action. They also symbolize commitment and the will to succeed, just like big sisters do.
Exactly, and that's why today we're going to talk about 3 key areas where women shine but are still fighting for recognition: sport, business and art. So let's start with sport, a field where women continue to break barriers even if they don't always get the spotlight they deserve. Here in Bordeaux, for example, we have the Bordeaux Boxers, the ice hockey team and the Girondins, the women's football team. And if we continue to look for other examples in Bordeaux, we can't fail to mention the Bordeaux rugby team, the Lionesses of Bordeaux. They even were French champion last year, but yet we haven't heard a lot about them. Yeah, they are phenomenal, but there are a lot of issues with media coverage, fundings, and so on. And that is what today we wanted to spotlight the team by inviting one of the players. So we are delighted to present you Alicia Washington, one of the players, second row from the Bordeaux team.
Hi. The appeal of rugby to me was my size was celebrated. I get to embrace being big, being strong.
Small talk and fundamentals, here we go! Yes. Look at that.
No matter what your shape, ability, it's really a sport for everyone.
And drive, 2, 3. Drive, 2, 3.
It's given me so much. It's taught me how to be confident, how to speak my mind, really taught me resilience and discipline. The game has everything you would want from a sport. There's contact, it's fast, it's camaraderie. It's one of the reasons why the game is so beautiful.
So hello Alicia, we're really happy to have you here with us today. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here with you all. Thank you so much for having me and highlighting the sport of rugby. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. So as we talk about, the lack of visibility is a big issue for the athletes who absolutely deserve to be recognized for their talent and the hard work. Honestly, I didn't hear much about them. What about you, Caroline?
Well, actually, I was at the bar this weekend and I was pleasantly surprised to see that for once it was a women's rugby match that was being broadcast. And as I watched, I realized it was the Lionesses of Bordeaux, and you are amazing. I mean, check out this video.
Félix Jancourt, ça Montserrat Amédée. Elle avance, Félix Jancourt. Au centre du terrain, elle fait du dégât, elle insiste, elle s'est relevée après avoir libéré le ballon. C'est bien fait. MC Washington est en travers, sanctionné la deuxième ligne américaine.
Wow, that's amazing. What a beautiful try. Right, so they're the official women's rugby team in Bordeaux, but unfortunately, I'm not really surprised if they are still under the radar. It's hard to even hear about the women's team in the media. So Alicia, how do you feel about the lack of media coverage for women's team compared to men's team, and what would need to change to improve this situation?
I would just love for people to show up to our games, and I think we've had a lot of really big games, like that one that was just highlighted, our game against some of the top teams in the league, and it would be amazing if people just show up to a game, and I promise you, you will see the same product, the same laws, the same ball, the same athleticism as you would at a men's UBB game. And if you invite women's rugby into your life, you will absolutely love it. And getting that buzz out and about will make the sport grow, and it will really help people invest in women's sports. I do want to give credit to the coverage that it has gotten. That's one of the reasons I came to France, was because the sport is bigger here. So I don't want to say it's starting at ground zero, but we do have a long way to go to get to where the men are.
I think you're such an inspiration, but not only for what you're doing in the field, you're an inspiration for all you represent, strength, resilience, and also I think the fight of recognition. And when we were talking about this lack of visibility, I think it shows very well our society, and especially in sports, like for example, in sports that are considered as feminine, like dance, gym, or horse riding, we don't hear anything about it, but when it's about football or rugby, it is well publicized, but except when it's played by women.
Yeah, and rugby is often perceived as a masculine sport, so how do teams like the Lioness of Bordeaux help to break down these stereotypes? And what does it mean to you to be part of them, showing that rugby and sport in general are for everyone?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that an athlete is a whole person, right? So like, there are masculine sides to all of us, there are feminine sides to all of us. Like before rugby, I was doing dance and gymnastics, and I feel like those helped me with rugby, with like strength and coordination and just like proprioception and body awareness. But I think it's also really important to realize that just because it's a contact sport and tough and you get dirty does not make it masculine. Those are things that women can also clearly enjoy just as much as their brothers, uncles, dads do. So I think just seeing it as less masculine, just allowing women to do whatever they want to do. Like if you're a male and you want to do ballet, if you're a female and you want to play rugby, play football, play soccer, you can do all those things and enjoy it and have a smile on your face. So for me, it's much more important to find the joy of the game, find whatever you're doing, than necessarily masculine, feminine, where we could just embrace our whole spectrum of who we are.
Yeah, I really love how positive you want to break those stereotypes, but sometimes I feel that it's quite frustrating and a bit the same everywhere, because I heard the other time that tickets for a PSG women's match were practically given away. Like it was really cheap, and yet they still couldn't fill all the seats. So I find it quite insulting for those players that are incredible.
And that's true, but I think we are seeing very positive changes. More and more medias are considering women, actually. For example, during the Olympic Games, the French government officially prohibited filming women in a certain way, so that they were not just known for their body.
Yeah, and if we go deeper, I think that visibility is an issue, but funding is also really important. So, Alicia, for you, what are the biggest challenges you face as a professional rugby player, particularly in terms of recognition and funding? Are you seeing an evolution in the perception of women's teams?
Yeah, I think I've actually been really inspired by the amount of funding and support here in Bordeaux. One of our major sponsors was formerly a sponsor of the UBB men's side. He showed up to a women's game, said, I should support this. I should, UBB has they're set. They have enough funding. I'm going to put my money towards the women's program, and that has been instrumental in bringing international players over, supporting us, so that we can make the move over here and have a lot of those smaller details of life figured out before we get here and just focus on playing. And it takes something as small as that, as someone who's a CEO, CFO, to have a spark in women's sport and then come over and bring their funding. So if we can get a few more of those, a few more eyes, a few more ears, that will inevitably love the game. There's no way around it. They're going to love the game. So if we can get a few more of those, then I think we'll be headed in the right direction. And yeah, I'm just really excited for the future, honestly, because the sky's the limit for women's sports, and I truly believe women's sports are the future.
And we also believe in it.
Yeah.
So thank you for your answers. But before we wrap up, if you could share one piece of advice with the girls who want to play rugby or any other sport, what would it be?
If I could share one piece of advice, I would definitely tell them, follow your dreams and don't take no for an answer. It doesn't seem like that long ago where I was trying out for the national team in the US, so I can get opportunities like this to play in France, play professionally. And I was told at the time, you're too small to play internationally, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough. And then I worked on those things, and I was able to make the national team, go to a World Cup, and now I'm here in your amazing country playing rugby. So no matter what someone tells you, you find your own path and you make it happen. Never take no.
Thank you so much for your answers and for sharing your inspiring journey with us. It shows how important it is to highlight and spotlight the women's team and the women's sport in general. Thank you so much for being here. It was really a pleasure to have you, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alicia.
Thank you guys. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So now let's switch to the world of business, where just like in sports, there is so much inspiring women who are breaking barriers and making waves. Think of them as well as Big Sister. They are so well leading our way and showing us everything that is possible. And I think that the following video is a true example of a very inspiring example.
I mean, what a relevant example, actually. It makes me think about a moment this week. I actually do quite a lot of things, but I was searching for catering options for an event, and I came across Marie Curie. And at first, I thought wrongly, of course, that it was a tribute to Marie Curie, you know, the scientist, but it wasn't that. It was actually this amazing catering service run by women.
That's great, and I love the name. I found it really interesting to have a catering service that empowers refugee and immigrant women by giving them a fresh start for their career.
And you know that actually they are not only learning how to cook, they are learning how to manage a service, how to run a kitchen, and they are gaining so much skills that will help them to open their own businesses.
Yeah, it's like a giant step forward for them.
Oh wow, so it's not only like a job, it's a whole training program, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I've heard of them the first time 1 year ago. I was organizing on my birthday and party, and I was looking for a catering service to offer a typical food to my guests, and I saw one of their TikTok videos. I was working with Mariam that came to France, and thanks to Marie Curie today she has opened her own little restaurant of Iranian specialties. It was such an enriching and so interesting experience to work with her because I was able to help someone to succeed, and it was a bit like having a big sister by my side during all the process, like guiding me. It was so cool to have her with me.
That's amazing, and it must really change their daily lives. And also it gives me some ideas for Christmas and next year. It shows how powerful this program can be, but not only to find a job and give a fresh start, but also to build confidence.
Yeah, and I think the most beautiful part of all of this is that they're not just employees, they become really role models, and they're showing us that even if there is a lot of obstacles, you can succeed if you have the right support.
That's such an important message, and it's really give me like the need to learn more about Marie Curie. I really want to get to know them and support them a little bit more.
And you definitely should, both of you, because they are doing an incredible work. I think you can follow them on their website, that is mariecurie.fr, or even if you want to meet them in person, you can meet them at La Manuco, 15th Street, Castle Rouge in Bordeaux.
Well, girls, let's do our best to support them. And while we are on the subject of food, dear viewers, we have a little surprise for you with our partner, Le Chanquet.
Yes, in fact, Le Chanquet is a very charming bar and restaurant in Bordeaux that got inspired by the very relaxed vibes of the Bassin d'Arcachon. They are well known for their creative cocktails and boards, and for us it's the perfect place to have fun with your friends.
And today, thanks to our partner Le Chanquet, we have the pleasure of offering you 2 cocktails and an aperitif board to make your moment even more enjoyable. To participate, all you have to do is like and comment on this YouTube video, plus bonus point for those who subscribe to our Instagram account at Your Big Sister Show. And within a week, we will let you know who the winner is on our Instagram account. So don't forget to take advantage on this special offer, and a big thank you to Le Chanquet for their support.
And speaking of good vibes and sharing moments, let's turn up the volume up a bit, because what better way to enjoy great aperitif with some beats that gather people.
And coming up, we'll dive into the world of music with rhythm, creativity, and community take center stage.
That's why we are delighted to welcome Luxie, a talented singer who's here to share her experience as a woman in the music industry and to navigate through the challenges that she has to be true to herself while pursuing her passion. So, welcome, Luxie. Welcome, Luxie. How are you today?
Great, thank you for having me here today.
Well, thank you for doing us the honor of being here with us to share your experiences. And without any further ado, let's dive into the third part of our talk show on the world of art. So, Justine, I think you mentioned something quite interesting the other day about how women are underrepresented in music, especially in certain genres.
Yes, exactly. Actually, I don't know if you have ever noticed, but in the top 50 rap songs in France, there is literally no woman. I think that the first spot is taken by Damso, the second by SDM, and the third by Jul. And this is a clear example of how little space the women have, and especially in rap.
Absolutely. You know, rap is actually marked by a strong history. It's a historical imprint that hasn't given women a space almost voluntarily. And it's basically an artistic means of emancipation and a strong one at that. For example, it was a way of asserting one's authority and building credibility through male symbols mostly, like belonging to a group, defending ideas, or even glorifying dark aspects of one's life.
Of course, and I also have the feeling that because it's mostly represented by men, it can be more difficult for women, like they don't have the legitimacy to talk about their lives. It's like it was less interesting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Luxie? What obstacles have you encountered as a woman in the music industry and how have you overcome them?
I think there is a lot, and it's from men. Like, for example, after shows, I had bad experiences. You know, after a show you want to talk with your public, and there is some people who are talking with me just to flirt or telling me some things about my face or my body because I'm a woman on stage. So it's always complicated to deal with that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, I just wanted to say that it's very unfair for you, and I'm really sorry to hear about this. It really made me think of Jams. You know, she was a very popular and powerful figure in rap during the 20s, and her career inspired so many women, and myself included, and I think it's a real example of determination.
Yeah, I think she really is that example. But rap is a community music genre, and Diams has supported so many causes like women in the suburbs, the fact that she's not just a suburbanite and an artist in her own right.
And her success proved that women don't have to conform to my driven narrative to make it in music. So Shai, for example, I think she shows a completely different image about herself. Like, she's a self-confident woman, sexy, and I think it's a good example of like a powerful woman in the music industry.
Yeah, I get your point. I'm just fearing a bit that people could perceive it as her perpetuating the cliches of having to be an ultra sexy woman, you know?
Yeah, I understand your point of view, but I think it's also important to show that even if a woman is sexy and showing herself as a confident woman, it's not something bad and can be like she is an icon of emancipation, I would say.
Well, okay, you convinced me quite easily. But you, Luxie, I want to know, how do you manage your image in an environment where the pressure to look good is quite strong, while staying true to your values and your style?
I think it's important to like brainstorm about what message you want to share with the people. Like for women, for example, you said she has a sexy figure, so she really want that. I hope for her, but for me it's complicated. So now I'm like working on it on mood boards. Like for example, what color I want to share, how I want to speak with the public. Like it's really a lot of work, and with all the social media, it's a work more and more, because as an independent artist, I have a lot of work about creation in music, about marketing and strategy, and you also have to care about your look because of social media. And as a woman, people really look at algorithm on Instagram, for example. They put women face in the first algorithm. So I think it's really important to work on it and what you want to share.
I think it sounds like a lot of work first. And you mentioned the importance of promotion and social media. I really believe that artists are projecting an image of themselves really through their lyrics. Like if we take again the example of Jams, during all her career, she really spread messages that women didn't have to talk only about men to become successful. And both of Shay and Jams are sharing their questions, their torments, and are sharing their life through their lyrics. And I think it's a way to easily get the female audience. Yeah, and exactly. And beyond rap, we can also talk about Angèle, we all know her, who managed to carve her own path in the music industry. She has become a symbol of artistic freedom, and she's not afraid to tackle sensitive topics like mental health, gender, and while staying true to herself.
Yeah, and so as we are talking about the subject addressed in the songs, we want to know more about you, Lexi, obviously. And in your lyrics, you talk a lot about disappointment, love. So I was wondering if you wanted to be a kind of a big sister to the girl that listen to you by sharing your experiences or your empowerment messages.
I think for me, the music is important to share that in life there is some failures or heartbreaks, and it's hard to deal with that. And for me, music, it's like the way I manage to express myself on it. And I think it's important to people to know that they are not alone when they have some bad things in their lives. So I think when I do music, it's like a therapy. So I talk about that. But I think every artist wants to share something different. For me, it's a lot about the feelings.
Mm-hmm. I really love what you want to share with your fans. And in speaking of expressing yourself, I think we can also mention Aya Nakamura. I mean, who doesn't know her? She's become a global sensation, showing that a woman of African descent can be at the forefront of the international music scene while breaking boundaries along the way. And her rise to fame has also showed that women can take up space and be themselves. I mean, thank God.
And I think that even if Aya Nakamura doesn't have the same style as Angèle, they are both facing the same challenge by being successful in a tough industry. And they have both succeeded very well by staying true to themselves and by breaking through the boundaries imposed on them.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of boundaries, Lexi, what would you say are the main challenges you face when building your musical project, whether in terms of budgeting, networking, or communication?
I think for me, the biggest challenge for me is to get self-confidence, even if there are some things that are not going on the way you want it. Mm-hmm. So, for example, when you do live music, sometimes you're tired or you're not in a good mood, but you have to be there in the present of the live music, so you have to manage with all of that and all the stress before the music. So I really work on it. And as an independent artist, for the budgeting, for example, you have to find people who believe in your music to help you, or you have to get a job to pay for your project. So it's hard to manage all of that, but I think you really have to get confident and be okay when things don't go on their way.
I think you are doing it quite incredibly. So I think it's, like I said, incredible. And I got another question. What do you think needs to change in the industry to better support women, especially in production?
So when we are talking about production, for example, me, I produce my music, and people, when you're a woman on stage, they really see you as a singer, but they are not taking you like in the composition or in the production of the music. And right now in the music industry, there is only 2% of women that are famous in the production. So I think now with the social media, it's better than before, because women can show on Instagram or on TikTok their production, so they know that women produce or they are doing DJ. But I think there is a lot of work for the music industry. Maybe they should have a percent of women in the music industry that we can talk about more.
Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for also shedding a light on shadowy subjects such as the place of women in production. I think it's very important to speak about it more, because people don't really realize the impacts of it.
Well, it was a pleasure having you with us today. Thank you for sharing your experience, your challenges, your journey and your vision.
Thank you.
I think that your story is not only inspiring, it's also a reminder of how important it is to really support women in the music industry.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, thank you, and we are so excited to see what comes next for you.
Thank you.
And stay tuned, everybody, because I think that February is going to be amazing for you.
Yeah, I have a new music coming on February.
Okay,
Wow.
so excited, so stay tuned.
Yeah, and we wish you all the best and can't wait to see you shine even brighter in the
Thank
future.
you.
Thank you, thank you.
Black and white. Now I see as the past we will be. You and me, maybe.
So everybody, sadly, as we wrap up today's episode, we're reminded of the incredible straight and talented women to bring to every field they enter. From sports to music, it's clear that when a woman wants to have the opportunity to shine, they do with brilliance. And before we go, it's time for our top 3 women of the week. 3 incredible women who have inspired us with their achievements and their determination.
First up, in the world of art, I would like to talk about Adele Exarchopoulos, because what a woman. She was named GQ France's Woman of the Year for 2024. It was recognizing her incredible performances in movies, and she's not just known for that, she's also known for her authenticity that never changed, no matter the fame that she got, and she continually redefined what it means to be a modern actress. She really has this ability to dive into complex roles that makes also her position of a pioneer in the entertainment industry to never move, and I hope that she won't.
Great! And next, to the world of business, a few days ago, Lena de Morgoli, a former EFAPienne, had the immense honor to give a speech at the application of the Bordeaux French Tech event. It's an event that's attending 2,000 people, including the mayor of Bordeaux, Pierre Urmic, and the president of the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region, Alain Rousset. So just to remember, it's in 2021, she created with 2 of her friends the first platform of delegating apartment visits that is called My Visitor, and it's dedicated to students just like us who have to move for their studies. It's a real example of an inspiring initiative and a true example of determination. Wow. And finally, in the world of sports, there is the women's handball team, who are off to a brilliant start in their European Championship, supported by their captain, Estelle Anzeminko, who is also the founder of the B-Box, a company offering mystery boxes made up exclusively of products created by companies run by women. So we wish Estelle and the team every success and hope they return home with a new title.
And for the word of the ends, we want you to remember that these women are proof that breaking barriers is not just possible, it is inevitable if you put enough passion, strength and work in what you do, so never give up on what you like.
And we want to thank all of our guests, Alicia, Luxie and the Marie Curie Foundation for sharing with us their beautiful journeys and for offering such valuable insights. And we want to remember all that every woman has the potential to succeed and to inspire those around her.
So now stay tuned for more empowering stories, and until next time, keep pushing boundaries and supporting one another.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.